Prepare yourselves and get ready, because you're about to see Jon Stewart expose the wacky hysteria of the fake news mainstream media. Guys, this video is going to be a lot of fun. I just want to say real quick, let's not give Jon Stewart too much credit. He very much supports insane leftist policies, including but not limited to child sex changes. So just proceed with caution with this guy, all right? That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to get right into it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, everybody, do me a big favor and like our video and share it around so other people can see it too. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Show. We got one for you tonight. Unbelievable. I'll be speaking to the head of the FTC, Lena Khan. Khan! It's going to be unbelievable. But first, as many of you are aware, the news has been pretty bleak recently, in the past 200-300 years. Listen, but this weekend, there was one story that was so disturbing, so dark, even the news couldn't handle it.
In our editorial discussions this morning, we were asked not to show the image from this video because of its violent and disturbing nature.
Video, which we are intentionally choosing not to show you.
We're not going to show because of how disturbing it is.
I was extremely disturbed to see this.
Horrible, horrible, violent imagery.
Violent and dehumanizing imagery.
We're only going to show you a clip of this briefly.
All right, that's enough. Let's take it down.
To see it at all. This has got to be devastating. News channels show images from Ukraine, from Gaza, from natural disasters. They get through them dispassionately. I can't imagine how devastating this footage must be.
Take a guess on what it is, guys. You got your guess? All right, let's see it.
Former President Donald Trump shared a video, this one, on his Truth Social account featuring an image of President Joe Biden hogtied on the back of a pickup truck.
That's what was so disturbing and dehumanizing. You wouldn't show it on television, and an airbrushed Biden decal on the back of a truck. Aren't you the same networks that show reruns of 9/11 every year? I mean, I don't think it's great that Trump is posting things like this, but it's not like people really think Joe Biden was tied up in the back of the truck.
It's a doctored image, but it's plastered on the tailgate of the pickup truck. So if you're driving behind it, it would appear as if Joe Biden were actually restrained on the vehicle's flatbed.
If you think that's really Joe Biden tied up on the back of the pickup truck, I don't know that you have the mental acuity to be operating a motor vehicle. But if you do think that, I should also probably explain to you that trucks also don't actually have testicles. It's just a novelty item. And it's not as though when an F-150 and a Silverado love each other very much, they get one of these. It's not. What is going on?
It goes without saying that Jon Stewart is completely correct that the media will dispassionately cover much more worse and heinous things. But there's an even deeper point that he is missing, whether it's intentional or not. Namely, that the media plays these stupid games of morality and holier-than-thou attitude, that Biden thing being a prime example of it. But they are probably the most despicable and disgusting people alive. And I don't say that with any hint of irony, by the way. I really mean that. We can go through some examples. How about the Covington Catholic kids? You guys remember back when CNN, MSNBC, or MSNDNC, as I like to call it, all these other fake news outlets were airing the story about these MAGA kids, high school kids, pro-life students who were protesting Washington, D.C. Then you had that weird Indian guy who came and beat a drum in their face. Boom, boom, boom.
A video showing a confrontation between the high school students, including junior Nick Sandman, and an Omaha elder Nathan Phillips went viral and sparked outrage.
Elder Nathan Phillips, that was his name? Elder. Isn't he fancy? Anyways, they reported on that story completely fraudulently and falsely. Not only that, they actually slandered the kids and pretty much were proven so in a court of law. While they didn't actually win the case, the COVID and Catholic kids, they did get a settlement from CNN, which it was probably at least millions of dollars, maybe tens of millions. I don't know. That number was undisclosed. I really hope they got rich off of it, and they should have, because if not, then they should have just sued them to the max and just won everything. But all that to say, those kids were totally slandered. They lied. They said, you know, you're showing tomahawk gestures. You're saying build the wall. They're being racist. They're saying they don't like Indians, all this stuff. None of it was true. And that led to some devastating and dire consequences. You had media pundits, in fact, calling for violence, essentially, against the kids on television. Reza Aslan, for example, who's a regular, I believe, CNN contributor, said that he had never seen a more punchable face in his life. Tweeted the face of Nicholas Sandmann for the whole world to see. Truly despicable and disgusting thing. And of course, many leftists online were threatening the lives of Nicholas Sandmann and other students who were involved with that, but especially Sandmann. Really sick stuff, terrible to see it. But that's not the only example.
Now, there is technology out there in the world that really does blur the line between reality and tailgate art. But those are mostly AI generated. Your fake Joe Biden robocall that tells New Hampshire voters not to vote. Your Chicago mayoral candidate glorifying police brutality. Your Donald Trump dropping by the neighborhood for a stew hang. Look how comfortable he seems.
I think it's safe to say that those article graphics Stewart just displayed along with their headline show that he still is a professional leftist propagandist at heart. But let me give him some credit, all right? Unlike many of these other leftist comedians and hosts, late night show hosts and whatnot, he did not throw a fit after Trump won, and even more to the point, he didn't sit there and cry like a baby. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. Well, Kamala Harris lost. America's over. It's so sexist and racist and misogynist. Ugh, Kimmel's such a weenie, guys. If you haven't seen that clip, just don't see it, all right? I'm going to spare you. That demonstration I just did was basically the whole thing. The guy was crying. He looked like a jerk, and it's just another day in paradise with Kimmel, isn't it? Now, let's see what Stewart had to say just after the election.
We were prepared for all scenarios, and each one of those scenarios, it was, how is Donald Trump going to finagle his way back into the way? How is he going to use undemocratic principles? What measure of intimidation and underhanded shenaniganery will this man use to worm his way back into the Oval Office? And it turned out he used our electoral system as it is designed. And in that moment, I thought, well, fuck. I'm not sure we have a team of lawyers for that. I don't know if we have a team of canvassers for that, which, by the way, I don't ever in my life want to hear about. Our vaunted ground game will put us over the top.
Cammie got smoked really badly. In fact, so badly, as Jon Stewart just said, she lost the popular vote to a Republican in 2024. Think about that, guys. That is insane for a Republican to win the popular vote on a national level running for president in 2024. In fact, it's unheard of until now. It was commonly accepted fact by many people that no Republican was going to win the popular vote in national elections anymore because the changing demographics is just not going to happen. You have more and more people congregating around the cities. They get bigger and bigger, bluer and bluer. You have more and more people coming out of college, brainwashed into believing whatever stupid leftist ideology that the universities want them to. What Trump did, make no mistake, it's an historic victory and one that him and his campaign ought to be commended for, frankly. Whether you liked how they were running it or not is besides the point. The fact is they won, and they won big, and that is quite impressive.
It's a 50-50 toss-up race. We're sure of it, but the vaunted ground game. It turns out that people knocking on other people's doors doesn't get them to do what you want them to do. As I believe vacuum and Bible salesmen probably have known for many, many centuries. Fuck us, fuck me. I was wrong. We'll continue to be wrong.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I was just sipping on some liberal tears. Don't mind me. By the way, guys, if you like this video, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. And as always, please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked about the clip, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you, and God bless.